Welcome back to the Gameful Intelligence in the AI Era for Business Growth and Personal Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Elhanan Gazit. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission, well, it's pretty straightforward. We dig into sources, articles, studies, you name it, and pull out the key insights so you get informed fast.
Yeah, cut through the noise.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling something huge. It's this whole question of AI's impact on jobs, specifically how it's kind of dismantling the traditional career ladder.
Right, that climb we all expected.
Yeah. And what does that mean for you, if you're leading a team or an organization? It feels like we need a new map because the old one's, frankly, useless now.
It really does. And our guides for this deep dive today are some really powerful insights. We're drawing from work shared by Dr. Elhanan Gazit, the founder at Juloot, and also this really fascinating study from 2025 on immersive learning. It's by Wang, Dede, Grotzer, and Chen.
Okay.
These sources, they really paint a picture of the problem, but also, importantly, point towards some maybe surprising solutions.
Good, because the problem feels pretty daunting. What the material makes clear is that this disruption, it's not, some far-off thing. It's hitting now. It's affecting the very way people get started in careers.
That structure we knew. It's breaking down and fast.
Which brings us right to that core issue the sources highlight, the broken career ladder. We all kind of grew up with this idea, right? Start at the bottom, learn, climb up.
Step by step.
But AI is like pulling the rug out from under that very first step for so many people.
Exactly right. There's this anecdote in the material about a founder. He had to downsize his startup, like drastically.
Okay. Market trouble.
No, that's the thing. It wasn't the market. It was because AI basically made two key roles redundant. Poof. In a week.
Wow. Junior roles?
Not entirely. I mean, one person actually had a master's in computer science. And the founder was left asking this really profound question, something like, if the job ladder's broken, what are we even teaching people? What are we training them for?
Oof. Yeah, that hits hard.
It created this huge uncertainty, about development, about the future of just growing in a profession.
That founder's panic, I think a lot of leaders listening probably feel that. It's more than job cuts. It's like the whole system we trusted is shaky.
And it's not just one startup. I mean, look at this headline the source mentions. From a Calculus Tech report back in June 2025, journalist Amir Kabir wrote it.
What did it say?
The source described it almost like an obituary, not just a warning. It was blunt. Access blocked. AI is taking over junior positions in the high-tech sector.
Access blocked, that's stark.
It really captures it. It's those traditional entry points. Automated. And the examples, they just pile up in the source material. Across different industries, too.
Yeah.
Well, Duolingo's a big one. Their CEO came right out and said they were going AI first.
AI first. What does that mean in practice?
It meant immediately stop using contractors for anything AI could potentially do. The internal message was apparently very direct. Something like, AI is changing work now, not if, not when, now. We only approve staffing if the team proves they can't automate it.
Whoa. Only hire if you can't automate. That flips the whole script on hiring, doesn't it?
Completely. Usually you hire, then look for efficiencies. Now it's automate first, hire only if absolutely necessary for things AI can't touch.
That's a massive shift.
Huge.
Yeah.
And it keeps going. Shopify. Managers have to prove AI can't do the job before they even ask to hire someone.
Okay.
Salesforce reassigned, I think it was 500 customer service folks, because automation was just handling more, slowing their hiring needs. Business Insider cut staff over 20% while also saying, hey, we're aiming for full ChatGPT adoption.
These aren't small companies or future predictions. This is happening.
Right now. And it's not just entry-level stuff either, like basic data entry. The material points to other cases. A startup where one data scientist does the work that used to take 75 people.
75?
Yeah. Or this tech exec who told the New York Times they basically stopped hiring developers with like 3 to 7 years of experience. Mid-level people.
Why?
Because AI tools could do what they were doing. And there's a quote from Molly Kinder at Brookings. She says, "We don't need marketing analysts or research assistants anymore." That's what I hear from employers daily.
So it starts at the bottom, but it's creeping up. The whole ladder feels unstable.
Exactly. It's not just the first rung missing. The whole thing is shaky.
The potential scale of this is, well, it's kind of staggering. The CEO of Anthropology, Dario Amodi, he warned AI could maybe wipe out half of all entry-level jobs.
Half. That would mean huge unemployment spikes in some areas.
Yeah. And what he also pointed out, which is really interesting, is that even though leaders see this coming,
Yeah.
He said, most workers just don't believe this is about to happen.
That disconnect is dangerous. How do you prepare your team if they don't even see the storm coming?
Exactly. Now, the sources do mention Klarna, right? They went AI first with hiring, then kind of backtracked because of customer service problems. Does that mean this whole trend might reverse?
That's a good point, but the source frames it more as a growing pain.
Ah, okay. Not a reversal.
Right. It shows that just plugging in AI isn't always smooth sailing, especially for complex stuff like customer interaction, where you need nuance, empathy,
Sure, dealing with unexpected things.
Exactly. So Klarna's case is maybe less about AI failing and more about the tricky bits of implementing it well in sensitive spots. The bigger pattern still holds. Those first steps into jobs are eroding.
And with them, the whole system for training people up for developing leaders, it's getting disrupted.
That reliable path, learn a skill, get a job, climb, it's just not the main road anymore. Companies are left wondering, what does development even look like if people can't just sort of grow into the system step by step, especially when the future roles are so uncertain?
Okay, so if the map is gone, the ladder's broken. How do leaders actually equip people? How do you build talent for jobs that might not exist yet, or for challenges that need totally different thinking?
Yeah. How do you move beyond just teaching tasks?
This is where the sources shift, right? From the problem to, okay, what can we actually do? And immersive learning comes up strong.
It does. And Professor Chris Today at Harvard has this really key definition. He stresses it's not about the fancy tech itself.
Right.
It's about the feeling. He calls immersive learning the subjective impression that one is participating in a comprehensive, realistic experience. It's feeling like you're really in it, that it's real.
Making it feel consequential.
Precisely. And Dr. Gazit's own early work, mentioned in the material, kind of echoes this. Way back in 2002, he was using these 3D virtual NASA images for teaching astrophysics.
Okay.
And he saw it wasn't just better visuals. He said it created a different kind of thinking altogether. It let students interact with complex stuff in a new way.
That idea seems to feed right into the big study we mentioned. Wang, Dade, Grotzer, and Chen from 2025. Understanding and managing the complexities in situated learning in immersive virtual environments.
Yes, they really dove into how immersive learning tackles complexity, where traditional teaching kind of falls short.
How so?
Well, take their ECO-MUVE example. It's brilliant. Students get put into the simulated pond ecosystem in VR. The fish are dying.
Okay, a mystery.
Exactly. And there's no simple answer sheet. They have to be investigators, like real scientists or, like leaders facing a fuzzy business problem. They have to explore, gather data on all these interconnected things, track variables, guess what's happening, form hypotheses, and then test them out by doing things in the simulation.
So they're learning by interacting with a complex system, not just memorizing facts about the system.
That's it, exactly.
Okay.
And by studying things like ECO-MUVE, the researchers identified 3 key types of complexity that immersive learning can handle really well, but old school instruction often just ignores or flattens out.
Okay, what are they?
First, real problems like leaders face daily involve complex systems, things interacting, feedback loops, stuff you can't predict easily, not just A causes B. Traditional training often breaks things down into neat little pieces, which fails when the interactions are the problem.
Right. A leader's issue is rarely just one thing in isolation. It's how the market, the team, the tech are all bouncing off each other.
Precisely. Second, complexity.
Yeah.
The process of figuring it all out. If you're new to a complex problem, where do you even start? What's important? How do you organize your thoughts? It's hard.
Yeah, standard training often gives you the steps, but what if you don't know the steps?
Exactly. It works for known problems, but not for ambiguity. Immersive setups let you practice navigating that messiness.
It's like needing skills for exploration, not just following a roadmap.
Perfect analogy. And the third complexity is making meaning out of it all. It's not just about doing the task right once. Real understanding, especially in tricky situations, needs reflection.
Thinking about what happened, why.
Yes. Connecting it to what you know, challenging your own assumptions, maybe using tools to see patterns. Traditional training might just focus on, did you get the right answer? It misses that deeper learning piece. Immersive learning gives you rich experiences to reflect on.
So you're teaching people how to think, investigate, and learn from doing inside the complexity, not just teaching them facts or procedures from the outside.
That's the fundamental shift. And building on that, Wang and her colleagues proposed 6 strategic responses, like design principles for learning experiences, ways to move from just explaining things to actually fostering that system thinking through participation.
Okay, this sounds like a practical blueprint leaders could actually use. What are the 6?
Okay, first, create environments that expose learners to real systems, or at least highly realistic simulations. Get away from abstract stuff. Let people grapple with the real dynamics. Second, reduce unnecessary cognitive load. Complex problems are hard enough, right? The learning tool itself shouldn't be confusing. No clunky interfaces or irrelevant distractions. The focus should be on the problem's complexity, not the tools.
Right. Free up brain space for the actual challenge. For a leader, that might mean, what? Clearer data, less bureaucracy.
Exactly. Design things so people can focus on strategic thinking, not operational noise. Third, offer heuristics. These are like mental shortcuts or guides.
Rules of thumb.
Yeah, basically. Ways to help people make reasonable choices when the path isn't clear. It's not giving the answer, but giving tools to find an answer. For leaders, maybe it's simple decision principles for uncertain times.
Okay.
Fourth, make invisible reasoning visible. How did someone figure that out? Showing the thought process, maybe with visualizations or guided questions, helps novices grasp the how of expert thinking, not just see the final what.
Seeing the mental model in action. That sounds powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
Fifth, anchor the reflection in disciplinary thinking. Connect what's learned back to established ideas, scientific principles in ECO-MUVE, or maybe business strategy models for a leader. This helps people apply the learning more broadly.
Got it. And the last one.
Finally, use effective visual models. Good visuals can make complex patterns and relationships jump out in a way text or numbers alone can't. Communicate the complexity clearly without dumbing it down.
Wow. Okay, this framework, it doesn't just sound like education theory. It feels like a way to design work itself now, especially when learning and doing are so intertwined.
That's the crucial link. This framework mirrors what leaders need to do every day in these volatile business systems. Strategy isn't a neat plan anymore. It unfolds as you interact with the market, technology, your team.
So work becomes the immersive learning experience.
Exactly. Leaders and teams have to think and adapt while acting. So the question the sources pose is, can this educational model, designed for complex thinking and simulations, be the blueprint? Leaders need to rebuild development paths, maybe even how they structure things, now that the old map is gone.
And it sounds like this isn't just theoretical. Companies and projects are already using immersive learning strategically.
Oh, absolutely. The material gives great examples. Dr. Erica Woolsey's Hydrus project using VR dives into coral reefs. It's not just biology facts. It's built to foster empathy by letting you experience the ecosystem. Then there's Nanome.ai. Researchers use VR to literally grab and twist complex molecules. It turns abstract data into something you can physically manipulate.
Making the complex tangible.
Exactly. And another really cool example of the source details is Dr. Gazit's own project. He worked with 2 students, Jana Lipschitz and Tom Rozansky, at Afeka College. They built a VR game called Ocean Heroes.
Ocean Heroes, what's the concept?
It's about tackling plastic pollution. You put on the VR gear and you're in this 3D ocean. You have to actively fight pollution sources, save virtual animals tangled in plastic, clean up the sea.
So you're learning about a huge systemic issue by doing things within that system's simulation.
Precisely. You learn through action and consequence. And get this, it uses AI to make the marine life behave realistically. And there's even an AI bot inside a virtual dolphin that guides you and gives you info.
Okay, that ties it all together. Active learning, system interaction, AI integration, all focused on a complex, real-world problem.
It really shows the power of learning by doing within these rich environments. Explore, act, get feedback, grow. It's so different from just being told things, which, as we've seen, isn't cutting it anymore.
Which seems like a perfect lead-in to this gameful intelligence idea, the GI approach Dr. Gazit developed.
It is, and the name might make you think of points and badges.
Yeah, gamification.
Right. But the source is clear. It's not about just adding game mechanics onto work. It's deeper than that.
Awesome.
Dr. Gazit developed GI by watching what makes people truly effective and, importantly, engaged when things are changing fast and the path isn't clear. He saw patterns.
What kinds of patterns?
He saw people who felt empowered, who had a sense of agency, like they believed they could act and make a difference.
Okay, agency.
He saw people who could reflect and adapt while they were still moving. Not waiting for a post-mortem meeting, but learning and adjusting on the fly.
Reflection in action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, people who connected what they were doing to something bigger, some larger purpose. That kept them grounded and directed, even when the next step was fuzzy.
So gameful intelligence is about building those qualities, agency, reflection and action, purpose into how people operate.
Yes. It's less a set of skills and more an overall approach, a way to design work, business, even personal growth. For these times when, as the source says, the path is murky, it helps people lead with purpose, learn through doing, and stay effective when everything's shifting.
This whole shift, then, from just instruction to immersion, and maybe using a lens like gameful intelligence, it feels critical for leaders dealing with AI disruption. Old training methods just seem inadequate.
That's really the core takeaway from all this material. The changes AI is driving demand this fundamental move. Leaders, teams, we're not on predictable paths anymore. We're in complex, fast systems. Success means being able to reason live, poke the system, see how it reacts, and adapt.
So stop training people to follow the map. Start training them to be the navigators who can draw the map as they go.
You got it. From teaching processes to enabling people to understand, design, monitor, and reconfigure complex systems. And based on all this, the source boils it down to 3 key takeaways for strategic leaders, like right now.
Okay, let's have them. What should leaders focus on?
First, immersive learning isn't a fad. It's a necessary structural response. As old linear training fails, immersive approaches build that critical real-time decision-making, reflection, systems thinking. It's foundational now.
So not a nice-to-have, but a must-have for talent development.
Exactly. Second, instruction alone won't cut it for these AI-shaped systems. Look at Duolingo, Salesforce. Knowledge work is changing. You need people who thrive in ambiguity, adapt, interact with AI tools, not just follow steps. That demands learning where people do experiment, shape things, not just listen.
Learning by getting your hands dirty in the complexity.
Right. And third, gameful intelligence provides a really useful design lens for building this future-ready capability. Those core elements, agency, reflection and action, purpose, they're not soft skills anymore. They're strategic assets.
How so?
Whether you're designing teams, upskilling programs, or leadership development, using GI principles helps you intentionally create environments where people can be adaptive and resilient. It's a practical framework for designing for this new world.
So it's about designing the whole work environment, the culture, the feedback, the workflows to foster agency, adaptation, and purpose, redefining what ready looks like.
Exactly. Being ready isn't knowing all the answers anymore. It's having the capacity to navigate the questions well.
This has been really insightful. It lays out the challenge, but also points to concrete ways forward that are actually being used.
Yeah, and what really sticks with me from the sources is that final thought. The systems around us, work, careers, organizations, they're changing faster than our methods for teaching, training, and leading.
That feels very true. A little scary, maybe?
It can be, but the key thing the sources stress is that there's a path forward, even with all this uncertainty.
And that path, from what we've discussed today, seems to be start with immersion.
Yes, build for reflection.
And like the map is still being drawn.
Because honestly, for everyone in this AI era, it really is.
Absolutely. Well, if this deep dive into AI, the broken ladder, immersive learning, and gameful intelligence sparks some thoughts for you, the source material suggests checking out Dr. Elhanan Gazit's own podcast. It's called the GI Podcast, where he digs into these themes more. And also, if you have questions about the book he's working on, the tentative title is Gameful Intelligence: The Secrets of Business Growth and Personal Happiness in the AI Era. The source indicates you can reach out about that too.
Good to know.
We really hope this gave you some valuable perspective for leading and developing people in these very dynamic times. Keep exploring these ideas.
Thanks for tuning in into the Gameful Intelligence podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay curious.